Hello everyone, this is Manna Jagia. In today's class, we shall be talking about the very famous modern era poet W.B. Yeats. William Butler Yeats was born in the year 1865 and he died in the year 1939. Please remember he was an Irish poet, a dramatist, a prose writer, and he was one of the foremost figures of the 20th century literature. He was the one who founded the Abbey Theatre. Abbey Theatre is very important. You need to note down this information about Abbey Theatre. He was the one, W.B. Yeats was the one who founded the Abbey Theatre. Abbey Theatre was also known as the National Theatre of Ireland, and this was situated in Dublin, Ireland, and it is still today one of the country's, Ireland's leading cultural institutions, and it first opened on 1904. From 1904, it has been active till today, till the present day. Let me tell you that W.B. Yeats was the driving force behind the Irish literary revival, and along with him there was Lady Gregory and Edward Martyn. You should know about Lady Gregory also. She also was an Irish dramatist, folklorist, and theatre manager. And with William Butler Yeats and Edward Martyn, she co-founded the Irish Literary Theatre and the Abbey Theatre as well. And she has written numerous short works for both the companies. So Edward Martyn was also an Irish playwright, and he was also always with uh, W.B. Yeats, and he also has a major contribution to play in the Irish literary revival. W.B. Yeats was generally fascinated by Irish legends and occult and the Irish culture, and this is what you will see in his most writings that he wrote in the early phase of his writing. These topics will feature in the first phase of his work, which lasted roughly until the turn of the 20th century. His earliest volumes of verses does have these themes of Irish legends and culture. Later, his poetry became more realistic and more physical. About W.B. Yeats, there is little information that you need to remember. First of all, you have to remember that though he was born in Dublin, Ireland, later he did move to London. He was a nationalist and he participated and largely contributed to the Irish literary revival along with Lady Gregory, and they were the co-founders of the Abbey Theatre, Irish National Theatre. He was also appointed as a senator when Ireland got its freedom. And he was a very strong Protestant, so he rallied against Catholicism. About his personal life, you need to remember that Maudgon was the love of his life that you'll read in many of his works. Maudgon, M-A-U-D, Maudgon, G-O-N-N-E. Maudgon was the love of his life, but he married someone else. Maudgon had basically rejected him many times, and this pain you will see in many of his poetries. Let me tell you what the epitaph of W.B. Yeats read. So W.B. Yeats's epitaph or grave read, "Cast a cold eye on life, on death, horseman pass by." Cast a cold eye on life, on death, horseman pass by. So this is someone who is asking the horseman to pass by, and this is someone who casted a cold eye on life and on death. That means he did not take life or death seriously. So horseman, please pass by, don't wait and mourn. This is the entire idea of his epitaph. Now this epitaph is taken from the last lines of his final poems, Under Ben Bulben. Under Ben Bulben. Under Ben, B-U-L-B-E-N. So the epitaph of W.B. Yeats is taken from one of his final poems, Under Ben Bulben. W.B. Yeats received Nobel Prize in the year 1923, and also remember he was a member of the Ghost Club. Ghost Club was basically a research organization on ghosts and haunting, and it was under the influence of Emanuel Swedenborg. The entire Ghost Club was under the influence of Emanuel Swedenborg. Remember, W.B. Yeats wrote English preface for Rabindranath Tagore's Gitanjali. He wrote English preface for Rabindranath Tagore's Gitanjali. You must know about Rabindranath Tagore that all his works are in Bengali and he himself used to translate his works into English. But W.B. Yeats has written an English preface for Rabindranath Tagore's Gitanjali. W.B. Yeats died in the year 1939. This year is very important because in the same year, 1939, W.H. Auden left for America. Yeats said about himself and the other members of his Irish literary revival that we were the last romantics. This is what he refers to himself and the other members of Irish literary revival, that we were the last romantics. Also note down, W.B. Yeats collaborated with Purohit Swami. He collaborated with Purohit Swami in translating 10 principles of Upanishads. In translating 10 principles of Upanishads. Now, you need to remember, talking about his own works and influences, you need to remember that he began writing his first works when he was 17. And the early influence was P.B. Shelley. And you will see a lot of influence of P.B. Shelley on his early writings. Then later, he started becoming interested in Edmund Spenser. And also he took inspirations from the pre-Raphaelite verse, Rossettis, that means writings of the Rossettis and so on. Also remember, Irish mythology and folklore was a dominant feature in all his writings, and also later he was heavily influenced by William Blake. In later life, in fact, Yeats paid tribute to Blake by describing him as one of the great artificers of God who uttered great truths to a little clan. This is what he has to say about William Blake, one of the great artificers of God who uttered great truths to a little clan. After that, he also came under the influence of Oscar Wilde, and Oscar Wilde's influence is very much evident in Yeats's poetry and also his theory. See, Oscar Wilde has given us the theory of aesthetics. And Oscar Wilde, you have already listened to the lectures on Oscar Wilde. So if you have not listened, please go back and listen to the lecture on Oscar Wilde. There I'm talking about theory of aesthetics. So this theory of masks and aesthetics, which was developed by Wilde in his work The Decay of Lying, can be clearly seen in Yeats's play The Player Queen. W.B. Yeats has written a play, The Player Queen, in which you will see the depiction of the theory of masks and the theory of aesthetics, which was founded by Oscar Wilde in Oscar Wilde's work, The Decay of Lying. Very, very important information. Now, the play, Player Queen, has the sensual characterization of Salome. We have already learned about Oscar Wilde's play Salome, and similar characterization you will see in Yeats's play The Player Queen also. If I'm talking about the influences on W.B. Yeats, I cannot forget to mention Emanuel Swedenborg, a very important name. I've already spoken about the Ghost Club and how the Ghost Club was influenced by the writings of Emanuel Swedenborg. Emanuel, Emanuel Swedenborg, B-O-R-G. Emanuel Swedenborg was a Swedish theologian, a scientist, a philosopher, and a mystic, and his well-known work was on afterlife, heaven and hell. This is a book on the afterlife. I've already spoken about Emanuel Swedenborg a couple of times in other lectures. So his book on afterlife has been very influential, and the title of the book is Heaven and Hell, which was published in 1758. And the Ghost Club basically was inspired and influenced by the writings of Emanuel Swedenborg. Now, the first significant poem of W.B. Yeats is The Island of Statues. The Island of Statues. This is a fantasy work, fantasy poem, and this was influenced by Edmund Spenser and Shelley. Yeats's first solo publication was the pamphlet Mosada. Mosada: a dramatic poem. This came out in the year 1886. Then came out a collection, The Wanderings of Oisin and Other Poems. The Wanderings of Oisin, Oisin, Oisin and Other Poems. Now, basically, The Wanderings of Oisin is an epic poem and it is based on the Irish saga. This is the work that immediately won him a reputation as a significant poet. The next work that I would like to talk about is A Vision. A Vision. This was published in 1925 and it is a book-length study of various philosophical, historical, astrological, poetic topics by Yeats. This particular work, A Vision, comprises of all the works of Yeats and also it talks about all his views and opinions. Let me tell you, I've already explained in the modern era lectures that modern writers were all experimenting with free verse. They wrote in free verse, but Yeats was a master of the traditional forms. The next work of W.B. Yeats is Among School Children. This was published in 1926 and this was written after poet's visit to a convent school. Here, the poet remembers Maud Gonne. He is looking at a young girl and he suddenly remembers Maud Gonne. And so he is comparing Maud Gonne to the daughter of a swan in this particular poem. And he compares himself to a scarecrow because Maud Gonne keeps going away from him. There are three eminent philosophers that are mentioned in this poem: Plato, Aristotle, and Pythagoras. Aristotle is talking about Alexander. Pythagoras is talking about musicians in the poem. And also, he is making many comparisons in the poem, like he compares nun to a mother. Nuns worship to God is like how mothers worship their sons. Now, this particular poem, Among School Children, is written in Ottawa Rima, and the opening lines of the poem are really important. The opening lines are: I walked through the long room questioning, a kind old nun in a white hood replies, the children learn to chipper and to sing. I walked through the long room questioning, a kind old nun in a white hood replies, the children learn to chipper and to sing. These are the opening lines. So you see how it is based on a school experience where W.B. Yeats is looking at a girl and suddenly remembering Maud Gonne, and because it's a school kind of poem, he's talking about three eminent philosophers, Plato, Aristotle, Pythagoras, and there are nuns in this school, and he's comparing nuns to mother, how they are so disciplined in worshipping, as mothers are disciplined in worshipping their sons or loving their sons madly. So similarly, nuns are madly in love with their Lord. So that's all about this session. In the next session, we'll be discussing about W.B. Yeats's some more poems. Thank you.